They're trying to do their best to force the issue here as well. It's not going to happen overnight. It is unfair. It's screwed over. It's the NFL is deep rooted in its whiteness. Sorry for lack of a better way to say it, but this is a family sport with coaching staffs that are 3 and 4 generations in to, like, my dad coached and my grandfather coached, and that's why I'm here coaching in the NFL. And it's hard to get out of that cycle there. That's the biggest problem. So there's familiarity between a lot of these people in the NFL. Ooh, I know that guy. I've known him since he was little. I'm going to hire him. And that is the issue more than anything, let alone, like we've talked about before, Mike, it's hard to get in the building unless you know somebody as is. And that's an issue too. And you'd have to have some money in the bank saved up because you're going to make no money once you get started in the league.
Peace, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of 100% Juice Podcast. And I'm your host, H-Rap Bay. People, that clip I just played before the show, that was Chris Sims and Mike Florio. And they were discussing the topic of the lack of black head coaches in the NFL. And that's a real issue that a lot of people have been discussing over the last year or two, of the lack of black head coaches in the NFL. You got the league players are 70% black. So 70% of the players in the NFL are black. You only have 3 black coaches in the NFL, and you have 28 white coaches in the NFL out of 32 teams, and only 6 women coaches in the NFL. It's because in 2003, they had a rule called the Rooney Rule. And the Rooney Rule is an NFL policy requiring every team with a head coaching vacancy to interview at least one or more diverse candidates. The Rooney Rule is named after the late former Pittsburgh Steelers owner and chairman of the league's diversity committee, Dan Rooney. So they adopted this policy in 2003, but yet the league hasn't seen any black coaches, elevating. If they're assistant coach, they're getting a lateral movement. They're not moving up to the head coaching ranks. And that brings me to Eric Bieniemy of the Kansas City Chiefs, offensive coordinator for 3 years with the Kansas City Chiefs. 3 years. And he spent 9 years in the NFL as a running back. And Eric Bieniemy is one of the core reasons that they won a Super Bowl last year. Tyreek Hill has said this. Patrick Mahomes has said this. And the head coach, Andy Reid, has said this. Even Andy Reid is surprised that Bieniemy hasn't even got a job. He's been turned down for 7 jobs. 7 jobs. Yet, the NFL has hired 7 new coaches, and they're all white, and they're first-time hired coaches. So they're more qualified than Eric Bieniemy. You just heard Chris Sims in an interview just tell you that it's a good old boy system. There's a good old boy system in the NFL. If you grew up around a team as a child and you're white and you have money, that chances are that you're going to be hired as a head coach in the NFL. Because they're going to be like, hey, I know him since a little kid. Yeah. He got money. Yeah. He's the right color. Let's bring him on as the head coach. That brings me to the Philadelphia Eagles, who hasn't given Deuce Staley a head coaching job. And he's been there for 13 years. He was under Andy Reid. He was under Chip Kelly. And he was under Doug Peterson, who won the Super Bowl. But yet, he wasn't hired for the new Eagles head coaching job. Now, the Eagles just hired a new coach. I believe his name is Nick Sirianni. But if you read the reviews on him, people say he's not really that smart. He's a good guy, but he's really not that smart. So how is he more qualified than Deuce Staley? You got interviews saying with Jeffrey Lurie stating that Deuce Staley is kind of like a son to him. And he has so much admiration for Deuce. But yet, he wasn't good enough to be a head coach for my team, not Deuce Staley. He said he should go to another team and start his career at another team as a head coach. That's what Jeffrey Lurie said. But let me jump into this article. It's from Statesman.com, and it says why black NFL head coaches are becoming endangered species. And the article reads like this: the NFL has a problem, and it starts at the top. Head coaching jobs are around, but qualified black coaches are largely being ignored for these jobs. Over the past 3 years, 19 teams had coaching vacancies, but only 2 black men were hired for those jobs. Numbers are numbers, and the ones I'm seeing from the NFL aren't pretty. Black coaches are becoming endangered species. 70% of NFL players are black, but there are only 3 black head coaches: Pittsburgh's Mike Tomlin, Miami's Mike Flores, and Los Angeles Chargers' Anthony Lynn. So there you have it in this article, people. It's telling you that the lack of head coaches in the NFL is a problem, and they are endangered species. You only see 3 black head coaches. So if you're an NFL fan, you're black. Do you look at that? Do you care? Do you wonder why? Or you just like, it is what it is? But yeah, people, I want to get into other news. I want to talk about the silver market. And I want to talk about the silver squeeze. But I want to play this clip real quick. Listen.
And CEO Tyler Wald. Tyler, good to have you with us. Give us a sense of the kind of demand you're seeing on your side for silver.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. Yeah, the demand has been incredible. Started pretty much, started earlier this month with the Senate, split Senate between the Democratic and Republican Party, and then with GameStop and the Reddit situation last week, we've seen that transition now to the precious metal market. Pretty much physical silver, it's almost all gone in terms of live inventory. There's still a few items left for people to buy. And I noticed, I heard you speak about the physical price at $28.65 per ounce, but that's actually more of the paper price. Currently, we're seeing the premiums with the price to pay over spot, where to get actual physical silver in your hands, is skyrocketing. I mean, most stuff on our websites at least 30% over spot, and we can't source it for much less than that right now from our wholesalers.
Yeah, people. So what he's basically telling you, that the demand for silver is so high that it's no physical silver that you can really buy at this time. And if you go to any website right now, they're out of silver. They're out of silver because the market is being squeezed right now. And you know what that means for the Wall Street bankers? That they got to pay up. They got to go buy this silver physically because they've been selling people paper. When you buy this stocks and stuff like that, you're not getting your actual physical silver and gold. Yeah, they give you a certificate stating that, yeah, you own this silver or this piece of gold or whatever, but you don't have really any real proof that you really own it. So if these people come and say, hey, yo, I want to sell this stock and I want my physical silver, the bankers can't provide this. So that's the silver squeeze. And another thing, that the price of silver has been suppressed so long because the Wall Street bankers have been shorting the market, that because of this silver squeeze, the actual price of silver, which it should be $4,793 an ounce, that's what the actual price of the silver should be, according to the U.S. debt clock. When the market gets squeezed further, the price of silver is going to jump up to that price of $4,793 or higher. Now, you just heard the guy tell you that it's sitting at what, $28 or $29 an ounce? So imagine the next week or the next week or two that silver will be sitting at $4,793 when it was just at $29 an ounce or $28 an ounce this week. We got to pay attention to stuff like this, people. We got to see about if we can get silver. It may be a little bit impossible right now, but go online and see if you can find some physical silver. We need to be on these different things, buying gold and silver and stuff like that. We buying cell phones and sneakers and stuff like that, while everybody else is getting rich. But that's my show, y'all. Tune in for another episode of 100% Juice Podcast. And I'm your host, H-Rap Bay. Peace.
No mistake.
These eyes seen so much pain. Heartache loud like the rain on the window pane. No country for black men, shit remains the same. Here for a reason, made it through the seasons. Slave ships, jail cells, niggas still breathing. Revelation time for the dead to start breathing. David and Goliath, money on your phone, check, kill the beast. Black seas rose from the east. Struggle on my mama's face, staring at her way. Jesus, keep it faith. Man, child in the promised land, trying to find a way. Broke as fuck, friends never made a fall. Some never made it out of cost. Bloody knuckle prints on a brick wall. Pictures of our ancestors standing tall. Do it all, made it through the pain, nobody made the call. America the free, Trump building a wall. For the Mexicans, the new niggas, separate you from your family and your language. This is free school lunch when your stomach hurts. Black seeds,